Hey guys, what's up? This is Gom and welcome to a little bit of a mini vlog update video. This isn't going to be the full house tour setup thing, but I wanted to at least get something out so people know what is going on, because there are a few people who don't know that I have recently moved. I have moved to Austin, Texas from Dallas, Texas, and this is the first time I've moved, period. So this is kind of a big learning experience, and it's kind of exciting and fun because, you know, obviously moving out for the first time, being out of the parents' house, and establishing myself in a place is nice. Now, I don't own the house. This is a rental. In fact, the last tenants moved out like last Monday. Very, very recent. And so there are a lot of things kind of wrong with the house, but not terribly. It's a good house, honestly. I mean, look at me, you can see we have a really spacious living room. We kind of went ahead and bought a TV and a couch and table, so that way in between moments, or if we wanted to like sit down and relax, we had that, because especially it's gonna take us a long time before we get everything else set up. We were hoping to get things set up for like beds and recording things by Saturday. We way underestimated everything that would end up happening. But yeah, here's most of my shit from the last house. It was kind of really, like, I underestimated how long it would take for me to pack everything. I was like, oh, well, most of my stuff's already in containers, so it'll just be like something I could do in 2 or 3 hours. And it ended up taking me like 6 hours, and we ran out of containers, so I had to start putting things in garbage bags. And, but yeah, now most of it's just kind of sitting here waiting until we actually have our own personal mental go-aheads. And then we've been buying other things for preparing for the house. We have our our cleaning supplies, our shower supplies, a bunch of things. Also, a bunch of 4K movies. We watched Dread. That was the first 4K movie I've ever watched, at least, well, at like home, and it was actually pretty good. There weren't really too many moments that made me go, oh, this is amazing in 4K. But there were at least a few moments that made me go, wow, this is amazing in 4K. But yeah, there are a lot of problems with the house. Very small problems, but it's one of those things where like you get a bunch of small problems and they kind of balloon into a big problem when you combine them all together and make it a little bit more uncomfortable to live in the house immediately. There are kind of small things like, say, oh, well, I don't know, yeah. Small things like, say, this sink does not drain very quickly. Most of that water's been there for like the last 4 days. So, I mean, I'm glad I have, you know, a second sink. So that's not gonna be a huge problem. But yeah, things like that. There's real general damage. There's like cracks in the tiles. The fucking hot water isn't working for whatever reason. We're gonna have to figure that one out. There were just random places where they decided to take off the light covers, and that's not a huge, super huge issue, but that's just kind of like a weird thing. I don't know what the last tenants really did, but they definitely didn't like fix the place up to perfection before they moved, which, you know, I guess fair enough. You don't want to have to put in all the work for a place that you're not even going to be living anymore. But you have like random things like paint fading. I think they had a dog. The garage was filled, absolutely filled with dog hair. And thankfully, well, my mother was here for the first 3 days, so I didn't actually record any like before move stuff, because my mom was there for pretty much the entire time, and that was kind of like an uncomfortable little experience, but she did help out with things. So at least there's that. You know, she cleared out the garage, made it a hell of a lot more clean than what it was initially, but oh boy, things were kind of rough. So, you know, I'm kind of like rambling on here. Let's actually kind of do a tour of the house. So we have the master bedroom. I'll talk more about the problems as we go through it, but we have the master bedroom. It's gonna be where I set up. Some of the lights are burnt out, as you can see with this, but master bedroom, this is gonna be the room I set up my bed in. I don't know if I'm gonna set up a recording thing here, because if you can hear it, I think you can on my mic, it's really echoey in here. Obviously that's because it's a wood floor, and it's a big empty room. We'll see what the sound is like when we actually fill it up with furniture, but for now, don't really want to do that. Then we have the master bathroom, which is, you know, it's adequate. It's kind of quaint. You have the toilet kind of in its own little nook over there, which is nice. Here we have our shower and bath. I'm not really a bath kind of person though, so I don't like that I have like a huge fucking bath and then like a tiny shower. I'm a shower kind of person. So I'm gonna be getting in here and it's gonna be like super cramped. Like even like I'm comparing myself to this and it's like my camera and me are already kind of like passing most of the door. So that's not gonna be super fun, but oh well, once the hot water is working, that won't be too bad. Then we have the master closet, which is actually really, really nice. It's not like a full giant room kind of thing, but it's fucking massive anyways, this walk-in closet. I think I could pretty much fit all of the stuff that you saw in the living room and kitchen in here by itself. And so I'm excited for that because I've always kind of had a problem where I didn't have a place to put like the shit I didn't really have an immediate use for. So my room was a massive fucking pigsty in the last house because there's just, again, I couldn't really put the stuff anywhere else besides in the middle of my room or in like containers and things like that. So this time I'll have a little bit of leeway with that. Then if we go over here to the front area, we have, well, a bathroom. Nothing really super special about this one. It is just a bathroom with Goon stuff. Goon is not currently here right now. He is sleeping at a hotel. I let him sleep in a little bit while I try to get some housework done and some general recording done. These are just kind of, I guess you would like call them, like what? Well, the closets obviously, but like places where you hang your stuff, like coat racks and things like that. Yeah, I don't have a general name for them yet, but whatever. We have these front rooms. Don't know what we're going to do with them because obviously with just me and Goon living in the house at this time, they're just kind of big open rooms, and we might set up like a dining table or something in here for like group recordings if friends come over, things like that, or just to play like board games and shit like that. But there's two of them, so like we'd put stuff in this one room. What the hell do we do with the other one? I guess we could like display collectibles and things like that, but I don't know. But yeah, here's like the front door. It's actually a pretty nice entrance. You come in immediately and you see a whole bunch of different ways to go. Left to the kitchen and the garage, right for this dining room area, and then the middle for everything else. You can also see we have most of our furniture kind of here. Again, my stuff isn't really here yet. I'm still waiting for my bed, my biggest desk, and the rest of like the bed set. Goon already has most of his stuff there. And I also got a couple of monitors in the back over there, so I won't have to worry about the backlight issue. For people who don't know, I had like a backlight issue on my main monitor, so like in dark environments, everything was wonky. Sometimes I just wouldn't be able to see things that easily without like turning up the gamma, and I'm hoping I don't have to deal with that kind of issue again, but we'll see, because that backlight issue wasn't there when I first got that monitor, but like a week later, it was there, so, oh boy. Anyways, we have a little study nook over here where I actually put up my main recording computer. It's not really the most amazing thing because, well, not only is the sound quality crap, but like I couldn't put my boom arm here, so I had to use this stand, and the mic is too heavy when deployed down to where I need it, so I had to use tape for that. But this is kind of neat. Not good for recording, but obviously, you know, if we set up another computer down here for like guests or stuff, that wouldn't be too bad. And then there's the garage, which is actually fucking massive. It is a 3-car garage, and besides the fact that it was an absolute mess, let me actually get the lighting a little bit down here. Can I change this here? Yeah, all right. I'm not an experienced vlogger. Here's fucking cardboard, the shit that we gotta toss out, but there's enough space for 3 cars. And it's cool, but one of the problems I have with the garage is that if we were to look here, like look from my mirror to the garage doors, you can see there's like only 2 to 3 inches on both sides for like the mirror versus the garage door. And so I've been having to like thread the needle every single time. But like you can kind of see there's a little bit of a mess in here, and this is like bug fucking central. So we gotta get the pest guy to come in. He's actually supposed to come in a little bit later on today, and he's gonna help us out with a couple of issues. In fact, one of the biggest issues of why we haven't moved in yet, because I'd be fine sleeping on this couch. We actually have a rat problem. And so if you're slightly squeamish, then, you know, I guess look away for 10 seconds. It's nothing terrible, but yeah, no. So we came in and we discovered that there were rat droppings in the house going all the way upstairs. So if you come over here, oh, what the fuck was that? Something just fell down. Nope, that's just dust. If we come over here, there's rat droppings and food and shit like that. Kind of around the place. There's a lot more like behind the door, but kind of the fucking exterminator's coming in later today, so we'll let that be. But yeah, no, there were rat droppings all upstairs, and the thing is, the place was cleaned. The place was like, the carpet was steam cleaned and everything, so you could see the marks of the steam cleaning, and that had only happened on the day before we had left. So yeah, that thing is recent, and we're gonna fucking kill it, hopefully. By the way, that was like the washer dryer room. They didn't have one. We're gonna be getting one on Wednesday because I already bought them. The stove for the kitchen is currently in a really bad state, but that's getting replaced, so that's pretty good. But yeah, I mean, most of the place is in actually pretty good condition, minus, you know, fading paint, the pest problems. There are a lot of fucking bugs. I can't wait to like spray the place down, especially since I'm gonna be on the first floor. I've always had a thing for like sleeping on the second floor of a house, because like 90% of the bugs you'll ever encounter in a house, in most cases, are like the first floor. Like they just come through the window, or like a window seal that's like slightly cracked or some shit, and they're like, oh, by the way, here's just like an entire infestation. But I'm gonna have to deal with that as the person in the master bedroom. But yeah, the kitchen's actually pretty nice in and of itself. There's actually like, it's kind of overkill for a person like me. Like, I don't cook. I should probably learn, because like, just look how much, this could probably contain everything that I could ever want for like a kitchen, you know, dishes and glassware and things like that. But there's fucking like a whole lot more. I have no idea who could possibly fill out all of these cabinets unless they were like a chef in and of themselves. And then we have this little kitchen island. Unfortunately, there are, for whatever reason, like there are power outlets here on all sides of it, but those don't work. That's another problem. We have to kind of get situated in the dishwasher. Not going to use that. Inside of it was kind of a mess. Okay, there's a lock. I don't know exactly where the lock is. Just this. There we go. But it's a little dirty, and the last tenants actually left some of their dishware in there. I'm not a dishwasher person, so I'm fine with that. I'll just hand wash things. That's what I've done for most of my life, so fucking it's whatever. At least once we get the hot water working. And so that's mostly downstairs. You have little things like this. Here's a pantry. Little tiny thing as I get this fucking empty cardboard box out of the way. But we have this pantry here. Gonna be pretty nice. The last pantry I had in the last house was kind of like a full hallway kind of pantry, but it was filled with like really old stuff from like all the years that my mother and I lived in that house. So I just stopped using the pantry for like things I was actually gonna eat. So it's gonna be nice to have something like that again, at least for me. And now we can finally go upstairs, the main portion of the house that is going to be, well, very, very interesting to deal with. So we have the light here, turn that on, and we can start making our way upstairs. So the stairs are not too bad, actually. You have this little curve here, but like getting the furniture up there will probably be pretty simple, because you have this like wide turn. So that's pretty exciting. And when we get up here, we can get a nice view of the fucking Ethernet cable, and we'll talk about that. But you get a nice, scary view of the living room and the kitchen. I'm not gonna spend much time looking down like this, because that's kind of that's a scary sight. But if we come up here, you can see that we actually have 3 bedrooms and then a living room kind of play area thing. When I got the house, or when I applied to rent for the house, I did not come down here. I just looked at pictures on Zillow. It was a bad thing to do, but I was like, hey, this playroom thing looks really, really neat. There's so much space, and there is. It's pretty much the same size as the master bedroom downstairs, but you know, with fucking carpet and shit. However, what they didn't show off is that there's no door. It is completely open. So I was gonna originally make this my office space. I was gonna set up, you know, the desk probably like over here in the corner, and then like have enough space for VR things over here, but that's not gonna happen now. So kind of disappointed on that. Also, there aren't actually that many places where they could have set up the internet, so we had to deal with it being up here because most of our cables are going to be, well, going to the 3 bedrooms. And so I figured, hey, we're probably not going to have any Ethernet cables going downstairs once we're actually moved in. So we'll put it upstairs. We'll make it go around the walls and doors. And if the landlord finds it unsightly, it's his own fucking fault. He should have put a better Ethernet cable set, because if you go into these rooms, you can see that there's nothing at all for like Ethernet, coaxial cables, phone things, nothing, just power outlets, which is fine for what we need, but oh well. Anyways, yeah, so here's one of the rooms. This is pretty much the biggest room upstairs, and I'd say it's probably about like the size of my previous room. I know I didn't really show that off ever because it was in a constant state of being messy, but this is pretty nice. I think Goon's gonna be making is gonna be setting up his bed in here, and he hopes to put his desk kind of over here. So we'll see if that actually fully works out, because we're kind of in talks about trying to figure out our recording setup, because one of the problems is that I want to set up on the room on the other side of this wall, and like we can have a full conversation in terms of the acoustics. That's bad for like recording on YouTube and you can hear the other person when they're yelling and stuff like that. We don't want to have that. At least I don't want to have that, because when I'm distracted, I kind of, it fucks with my recordings. So, yeah. Anyway, so we have this room as well. This one's kind of a little on the smaller side, but obviously you could still fit like a full-size bed in here, and then maybe like a small desk. It has kind of I like this closet a little bit more in terms of like it opens up with 2 doors and you just get your entire set of things. That's actually kind of neat. So, I don't know what's gonna happen here. We might make this a guest room, or I might make it my recording room. I still have to figure that stuff out because, well, we need to soundproof everything. So that way we aren't hearing each other from all over the place. Then we have the scary door, which has all the machine stuff inside of it, so I'm not even gonna bother to open it up. It's just an attic space with insulation and things like that. Then we have this room, which actually I guess I should go into with a little bit more fanfare. Sorry for being so bad at doing a house tour, but we have this room, and it's actually kind of neat. You have this like whole entrance here, so you just kind of enter a hallway, and then boom, you're in this room. And this room's a little on the small side too, just like the second room I showed you guys, but it's spacious enough that I could probably set up a desk in here, and that's kind of what I'm gonna do. Again, we have the sound issue. Also, the light bulb is burned out, so it's gonna have to deal with that as well. Boop, 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 boop. But I think this might end up being my recording space. I just have to bring the desk up here and set up things. We're getting a whole bunch of sound insulation kind of things to try out, because we think a lot of the sound is coming through the doors. Obviously some sound's gonna come through the walls as well, but we think most of the sound is coming through like the doors and the hallways. So we're gonna get like a bunch of stuff to block that off. We're getting like weatherproofing seals for the doors, as well as we're actually gonna get curtains. And at worst, we put up the curtains above the doors and it just serves as like a cool little entrance thing. At best, it actually blocks off the sound from all of the rooms, which would be pretty neat. Also, this closet's actually kind of sizable. I could actually set up or not really set up anything in here. I'm not gonna like set up a closet recording space, but I could totally put a bunch of things in there for standby, such as my consoles and things like that that I'm not using. It's like, oh, well, here's my PS3 and Xbox 360, and I could put it up there. But I think that's pretty much it for all the rooms. and all the general problems. We still have a lot of work to do, as obviously we have to deal with the rat problem, which should hopefully be done today, and then also contact the landlord about different things like all of the paint smudges and things like that. I'm not really fretting too much about the paint things. A lot of this stuff will probably just end up being hidden behind our own stuff. But obviously it would be also good to just say, hey, how do we get this solved? And the landlord goes, well, I'll do it. And then if he does it, awesome. If he doesn't and he just tells us like what kind of paint they use, that's fine too. I'm fine with doing the work as long as I'm aware that I'm allowed to do the work. But yep, that's pretty much it for now. We are still in the middle of the moving process. Gonna hope to actually be moved in within the next couple of days, because once the Pest problem is solved, we can pretty much just go, all right, let's get this place fixed up with our own beds and things like that. Also, I have to run back through this carpet area with a carpet cleaner because, well, I don't feel super comfortable walking like barefoot on something that like rats pooped on, if there were multiple rats. Also, we gotta do something about these curtains. What the fuck? It's just a bunch of like flower curtains here because, well, hey, I guess the last tenants like it or the landlords liked it. I don't know. I'm gonna replace those at some point. Same thing as well as getting like other curtains for the stuff upstairs. I'm not really super like posh with things, so I'm probably not gonna get like designs and shit for the curtains. They'll probably be simple stuff, so that way, you know, block out the light, especially down here where we have the 4K 65-inch TV set up. That'll be nice to block out some of the sunlight, so that way when we're watching stuff and we have the lights off, we can just concentrate on the TV rather than being like, oh God, there's a glare. Anyways, that should be about it. I didn't mean to make this like 20+ minutes long, but it's an update and it's also kind of a house tour from beforehand. I'm gonna do another one whenever we have things moved in, and then maybe another one long after that when we have like things perfectly tuned the way we want, if we can ever get to it. But yeah, we're still in the middle of moving, so if things are shaky with videos, well, that's because I'm not really fully set up. I was gonna try and do a little bit of editing work, but we just have so much to do here. So bear with me, viewers who are currently watching this during the move. I'm gonna try and get stuff out to you guys as much as possible. I even recorded like some Overwatch content in that study nook, but after I recorded, I listened to it, the audio, and it's really bad for my mic quality. But I'm trying. We're gonna get this stuff eventually moved into the rooms, and that will be nice. But for now, thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully we can have a fun time down here in Austin, Texas, especially with so many different things coming up, such as RTX and other friends. Hopefully visiting and or moving down here, we will see. Anyways, I'm gonna sign out and get back to work on the house. Farewell.